What's happening, Internet fam? Today is Monday, August 27th, I think. It's the 27th today. The Lonely Boots have a show tonight at First Street Bar in Encinitas. We're all invited to that. Let's see, what else is happening? So I am on my way back down to the Vista Courthouse again. It's a beautiful day down here by the beach. I'd rather be at the beach swimming or shooting more music videos or writing music or rehearsing with musicians, or I'd really like to be doing is playing with my kids somehow, either at the beach or whatever. Just spending any amount of time with my kids is what I'd like to be doing. But that's obviously impossible at the moment. There's currently a five-year restraining order against me for my own children. Keep in mind, I've never harmed anyone. I've never threatened to harm anyone. I have no criminal record of any kind, no history of drug or alcohol abuse, absolutely no malfeasance in any way. And the insanely idiotic Judge Wood is his name in Vista. So if you go in front of Judge Wood, kiss your ass goodbye, basically. Despite none of that, he issued a 5-year restraining order against me, against my own children, which is as insane and unfathomable as it sounds like. I mean, it's literally crazy. Like, I'm like just the best dad there is, you know? And I have now been restrained from my own children for 5 years. A lot of people have said, how is that possible? You must have done something, blah, blah, blah. And the way that it's possible is, the children's mother, and I hesitate to use that term given how much pain and misery she's put those two small children through in the last 2 years. Just doesn't seem like an adequate term for somebody who would do that to two small children. Her father studies legal issues extensively, and they had a strategy that they successfully employed against her big sister's ex-husband as well. He's a really nice guy. Again, this is a guy who would never harm anybody, never, no criminal record of any kind, just a really, really nice guy. He's a little bit eccentric. I mean, he's got, I'm not going to claim he's like the best guy in the universe, but he's just a really nice guy who would never harm anybody. And he's been restrained from his child for 3 years. So they took that strategy that they employed against him successfully and just did the exact same thing now against Everett and Grace and me. And so I am going back to the courthouse again to appeal that decision. This is what I'm going to say. This is my Exhibit A for the new beginning of the appeal process. And I'm never going to stop trying to get to see my kids. I love my kids more than anything in the world. And what has been done to them is very wrong. And I don't care how good the Garish family is at manipulating the legal system. I don't care. I'm going to keep fighting them every step of the way, going to the courthouse, filling out paperwork, meeting with social workers, everything I need to do to be able to see my children, because the statistics on children who are raised without their biological father are very bad, very bad. Also, the statistics of children who are raised on military bases, also very bad. much higher incidence of being victims of physical abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse, much higher incidence of later issues with drug addiction, alcoholism. And I mean, look at case in point, right? I mean, look who we're dealing with. Military brats generally do not grow up healthy or balanced in any way. This is another example of that. Somebody calling me, but it's nobody I know, so I'm not going to answer that. And then the statistics about kids who are raised without their biological father, and specifically without physical contact to their biological father. There's a component of physical contact with your biological father, roughhousing, playing, which is all, which is most of what we do when I do have the kids. So, and it feels very healthy too, airplane rides, rough and tumble, piggyback rides, all that kind of stuff. It's incredibly beneficial to the development of the children, that physical contact with their actual biological father. And the fact that now they've been stripped of that for, potentially for the next 5 years, that's an unmitigated tragedy. So, yep, so I'm going back to the courthouse to appeal. And, I don't have a lawyer. I'm not a legal expert. But I am a really good dad. So I'm going to keep trying. And I don't really care what the court system does. I don't care what people say or think or anything. I'm going to do what I can do to be the best dad I can be, so that when I do get to see Everett and Grace, whenever that is, even if it's not till 5 years from now, I can look them in the eye and say, hey, I did my absolute level best to be the very best dad that I could be, and to set a good example for you guys on this planet, even though I was not allowed to be in your lives. What else can I do? What else could I possibly do? I'm gonna keep doing it. Spent 130 grand so far. This is another day off work. This is another $100. Another $100 day of me not working and going to file paperwork at the courthouse. While I'm down there, I'm also going to meet with the Family Court Services, try and find a social worker who can assign me supervised visitation at Casa de Amparo, since you have to have a social worker, case worker to get in there. I only have till September 22nd to try and get some kind of supervised visitation of my children while they're still here in California. And the other side has not negotiated whatsoever any kind of third party or supervision that doesn't cost money or that doesn't require me to go through a state agency in order to be able to see my own children. Of course not. They've never been willing to negotiate or come to the table on any level at all. And, strategically, why would they? They've been holding all the cards now for since August of 2017. So for an entire year now, they've had all the power and control and everything of my two small children. And I've been powerless since August. I've been powerless for an entire year. It's interesting what happens to you psychologically when your children are being harmed and you're powerless to stop it. It's an incredible amount of mental trauma that I've been through in this process. And it's weird too to even mention it, because obviously the mental trauma that my children have experienced is far worse than my mental trauma. So, but I'm not experiencing their mental trauma because I don't even get to hardly see them or talk to them or anything. So, so I can only really reflect on my own mental trauma, which has been extreme and just incredibly painful. When your children are being harmed and you're powerless to stop it, it's unbelievably cruel. And I mean, it ages you. It ages you rapidly. I mean, my hair is turning white at an unprecedented rate. I I feel like sometimes I'm gonna have a heart attack. Like I feel like my chest doesn't feel right. I feel like I'm just like it's just gonna seize and I'm just gonna die. And I've been eating healthy and working out and trying to take good care of myself so that I can live longer, so that eventually I can be a part of Everett and Grace's lives. But it's physically debilitating to go through this type of abuse. And I'm just documenting it. I'm just documenting everything. Putting it on YouTube. Posting it to Facebook and Steemit, Instagram, Twitter, Gab.ai, which is the free speech version of Twitter. At some point, they may issue a cease and desist and force me to take the YouTube videos down, at which point I'll put it up on a blockchain-based uncensorable video solution. And I have all the video files, so I'll be re-uploading them again, if that's the case. I'm never going to stop fighting for my 2 kids. This restraining order is one of the most egregious travesties and unbelievable abuse of 2 small children and their father by people with just absolutely no ethical, moral, any kind of common human decency. And I'm never going to stop fighting it, ever. I'm fighting it now. I'm on my way down to the courthouse. Well, my phone's blowing up. I'm getting a million text messages and phone calls and stuff, so I guess I'll get offline. But anyway, Internet fam, I love you, Everett and Grace. I love you so much. I'm so proud of you 2 kiddos. And I'm so sorry for the abuse you've had to endure for the last 18 months. And it looks like you're going to have to continue to endure for a while. Just know I'm out here. Your dad's out here fighting for you every day, doing the best he can every single day, with no help from anybody, pretty much. I've had a few friends who have been, really good friends to me, and write really nice letters to the court, which the judge didn't read or admit into evidence or anything. I've also had an incredible amount of kindness in that way from friends and stuff. But as far as actually trying to get to see my children, nobody's really helped me in any way. I've been fighting every day on my own, and it's tough, man. It's tough, and everybody assumes, oh, there's got to be something wrong with you. How could this happen? This doesn't happen to innocent people. I'm here to tell you, this has happened to an innocent person, a completely innocent person. I've never harmed anybody. I've never threatened to harm anybody. I have no criminal record, no history of drug or alcohol abuse, nothing. And I've had my rights stripped from me as a parent completely, with absolutely no grounds whatsoever, based on the hearsay of perjuring psychopaths, basically. So anyway, love you, Internet fam. Love you, Everett and Grace. I'm going to be continuing to post these videos until they lock me up. And I do kind of anticipate that at some point, I may end up having to go to jail for some reason. I'm never going to stop fighting for my 2 kids. And the court system and the people manipulating the court system, which we know who they are. I don't think I have to say their names at this point, but everybody involved or who's watched any of my vlogs should know who they are, have continuously stymied me at every turn. And I do think that at some point I'm probably going to have to, I don't know, serve time, go to jail. It's weird that somebody who's innocent, who's never done anything to anybody, could find themselves in a situation where they're now under the restraints that would normally be reserved for some type of criminal. But I do think that at some point in this process, me fighting to get to see my kids, I'm probably gonna have to go to jail for something. I don't know what, but something. There's a lot of different things that they do to fathers in this situation. They'll try and take all their property, try and take all their driver's license, try and take their passport, try and take all that kind of stuff. And I do believe at some point something like that's going to happen to me, to the point where I'm either going to be incarcerated or fugitive for no reason than being horribly legal system and a woman scorned. So, all because I didn't submit when I was cheated on. So, and you shouldn't submit either when you're cheated on, by the way. If you're watching this, you've been cheated on. Regardless of the consequences, you should be a cheater and have the self-respect and be an example to your own children. And do not accept that kind of infidelity, dishonesty, and disgusting behavior, which it is. When somebody's married and has kids and they go cheat, it's disgusting. It's wrong. Break up, go get a new relationship. Don't cheat. It's wrong. Foul. It's gross. And don't accept it when you're being cheated on either. Because no matter what, I can look at myself in the mirror. I can look at myself in the mirror and say, I know I did what I needed to do for me. I know that I was the example I needed to be for my children. And I'll be damned if anybody's going to tell me otherwise. All right, Internet fam. Have a great day.